Leone here, another day in Los Angeles, and by Los Angeles, I mean Seattle. Not much has changed since the last time that I podcast, but I did want to continue this conversation of where is America going? Everyone seems to think that they have a plan, but we really need one. We really need a version of manifest destiny. We used to have that. We used to have presidential doctrines that would become a mantra, a creed, something that you could rally around. Make America great again. It doesn't resonate with everybody. It really doesn't. Until you listen to the actual message, the message of where you are right now, make that good. Make that decent. Make that livable for you. The message has been distorted by some people, but that is the real message of Make America Great Again. Be that local hero, be that local person that says, I will make a stand for the good of the community and the future of it. There's a lot that I could say right now, but I once again have to stress that I don't know if I would be happier on the East Coast. The West Coast and we agree on a lot of things, but I'm of the mindset of let's make that change now and invite more people to it. And they're of the philosophy, yeah, but isn't it great to have a bunch of people who work like slaves? Because when they're occupied with their slavery, when they're occupied with their basic needs that could be met, if you work together, they're less of a problem. It's like their operating system never really turns on. They're just base code. They could install software updates, but nobody really wants to. You go to sleep, you wake up, nothing changes, and you're okay with that. I'm not okay with that. Because sometimes people's operating systems, without being booted up properly, still get corrupted. You can tell I have a computer programming background if I say stuff like that, but isn't that kind of what we're doing now? America is a bunch of clones and drones, not as free thinking as it used to be. A lot of voices get silenced when you have things like an AIDS pandemic or a COVID or just the general tedium, which is being a protester in a country that should support you because you're on the side of right or reason, but it never really turns out that way. So here I am. I am podcasting at this late hour because there has to be something more to life. There's no other way to say it. There has to be something more to life. I mean, I have my companies, my organizations, my Green Future Go, my Mars Now. And I don't do enough with it. And now that I'm in a city, I really should. Because Habitat for Humanity is a great organization, except their thing is, we're going to build you a house that you can't afford. It's too large. It's terrible to maintain. And because it's of such good value, You'll owe more money than you'll ever get out of it unless you sell it immediately, but then you're homeless again. And there's nothing wrong with being homeless. As much as I complain about that awful place, they're building community there. They're really building community in a world where nobody wants to do that. Nobody. We're so selfish because we've been hurt, we've been deprived in some ways. So the moment that we have something, keep it to ourselves. When we don't even need half of it. And sometimes too much of it can hurt you even worse. I talk a lot about how movies are always on the cusp of something, which is why I always follow Disney. Disney is really dialed in a way. They were dialed in before COVID with the snap, which most people took as, oh, that's a cool little plot element. I'm like, that's not a plot element. That's a duck and cover on a big screen. But you didn't catch that. A lot of people didn't. How could you? I mean, that would mean that you actually thought critically about it instead of saying, wow, that's good CGI. Amazing CGI. The best CGI you'll ever see. I call it the Avatar effect. Avatar, great franchise. James Cameron, brilliant director, brilliant. But he makes such good art, such great stories, that it's hard for people to actually digest what he's trying to say. The whole idea of these Pandora people who look a lot like someone who just holds a leash. It's hard to be a selfish person when you have to care for something consistently. Their struggles, they're everything. That's us. We allow the Department of Education to steal our children. And there's no other way to say it. You feel as if you won't have enough money if one of you stays home. Most families do this. So instead, you say, we'll send our kid to babysitting. Let's not call it education, because if it was real education, then half of these people would actually read a newspaper. So it's not education, it's concentration camps, legally. Concentration camps. Because you say the Pledge of Allegiance, so it's supposed to be okay, that you indoctrinate your children into this. But while you're doing that, you're kind of missing you're missing out. Missing in, that's a weird turn of phrase that my brain just automatically went into. Because it feels good to be part of something, and this education is supposed to open up all these worlds for you, but terrible jobs that don't give you benefits, or hostile workplaces, long hours preventing you from seeking an alternative education, or maybe finding a different employment, or maybe just finding someone to love. But that's the rush, that's the stigmatization of being homeless and poor. We don't glamorize it. We glamorize the rich. We have lifestyles of the rich and famous. You got TMZ You don't have a bunch of people, except for your favorite podcaster, Ian Iliona, who says, no, let me show you some of these homeless. Sorry, I just got another thing there. Either way, I was trying to say, when I go around, I actually show these homeless people, I actually show that for the most part, they're in fantastic shape. They're a lot healthier. They make smarter choices when it comes to their nutrition and health. And for them, the most important thing is sleep. Nighttime is a scary time. Very, 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 very scary time. Like right now, it's like really dangerous here. But they go to bed. They go to bed. You know, they know what it means to be fatigued and run down. And they say, no, I reject that. This is my time. I'm going to rest. I wish America was humble enough to learn from these people, because they have so much to teach. So much. I know we go to doctors, I know we go to all these people with fancy degrees, but they take your life and make it miserable, make it more miserable. They give you medicine without explaining that. In order for your medicine to be functional, you would have to start a systemic, life-altering change to who you are as a person, because who you were before is why you're injured. So it is pretty late, and it's pretty active here. So I'm going to call it. My name is Ian Iliona. I'm an environmentalist, a human rights activist, a mutant, a werewolf, alien, metahuman. I'm a veteran with PTSD for military sexual trauma. I'm not getting any better. I am not. I hope to see you on the next podcast. Kisses.